Hi there, Cards on the Table with Vicky. Today I want to show you this card that I made using a few different things from current and retiring products. It's got a little pop-up inside, nice little easy pop-up box with a little rose coming out the top there. I'm going to make it with slightly different designer paper, but it's just basically the same card with just a few different switch ups. So let's get started with what you will need. First off, I am going to be using, I think it's called the Lovely and Beautiful Designer Series paper, which is in the mini catalogue. Currently now the 2026 January to April, I think it is, mini catalogue, and you can also find it online. Lovely and Beautiful Designer Series paper. It's got really pretty gold embossing on one side of the paper. I actually have chosen this side to start with for the background of the front of my card, and I'm going to put that on straight away so that we can get that bit started. I should clean my glue bottle first, shouldn't I? All right. Here we go. So unfortunately, I'm going to be gluing over that pretty paper, all that pretty gold, sparkly, shiny paper, because I just want a fairly plain piece on the front. You can use plain cardstock, or you can use two-tone card, embossed, or I just like a fairly plain pattern because I've got this going on in the front, and it can get lost if it's too much detail. Now, the lovely doilies, which come in a pack with red and pink in two different sizes. That's Bubble Bath pink and the red. They're currently online. You can this one I've used for the little wrap to put the flowers in. In this one I'm used the Bubble Bath, and I decided I'd show you if you wanted to use the white piece and just change the color to whatever color you wanted. So I'm choosing to go with a petal pink. Hang on, excuse me 1 second, I forgot to bring over the, oh, sorry about that. I'm just playing with my microphone. Sorry. Oh, this is why I'm no good at this at all. All right, I've got my microphone back on. I wanted to get my blending brush, which I'd left over there. So I'm just tapping that on, and I'm just going to bring that in here, and I'm just going to change, I want to change the color a bit. And you can't see a lot of change to start with, just keep going, and you can start to see the color changing now. And I want it quite dark, I want to be able to see it. But you can do this any color you want. This means that all the doilies can be changed. Just flip them over to the white side, because they're only one red or pink on one side of the doily, the other side is white. So just flip it over and then color it the color you want it. And that, I think, is about what I want. I want a fairly pale. That's pretty good. That'll do me on the petal pink. And that's my doily. See, I've just done that on a bit of old white paper there. So what I did with the doily is I folded it over and then again, so that I had this piece coming across here. You can't see it very well, and what I thought to do was I took a piece of two-tone cardstock. I like the two-tone cardstock because it is not as thick. It's just got it's a bit of weight to it, but not too much, not as much as regular cardstock. You can use regular cardstock if you choose. I also like two-tone cardstock because you can choose what color you want. Now I took this piece folded the way I'm going to fold it, and I put it to the edge of my paper, my card there, and I just drew a pencil line there and cut this piece out. That's the two-tone cardstock. So once I have that piece, then I'm going to pop this in. I like the darker side for this choice, and by doing this you can see the darker piece. Okay, so what I've done now is I've cut the piece, I've trimmed it down a little bit on the top so that this piece will now wrap around here. And just give it a little wrap, or you can trim it, whatever you like. Just so it wraps like this. And you've only got, you can have that up higher if you want, so you hide all of that as much as you want hidden. Don't want any of the red showing. So what I do now is I just actually added some glue in here. You don't need a lot. It's just a bit of glue to hold that in place. And I'm choosing the darker side. I decided I like the darker side showing through. So I'll just wrap that around here and around here, like so. And then I'm just going to put a bit of glue on here as well. And a few little dabby spots, dab, just to close that up. And that's held in place in a second. There we go. And that's how that's going to sit. And it's going to sit on the front of my card like so. Okay, so you can see a little bit of the red showing through, and just hide that a little bit, it's fine. It doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, you can hide it a bit better with your card, all right? But that's fine by me. This is how it's going to sit on the card on an angle. And I've actually got my flowers here, so they're going to sit like this. I'm just playing with them now so that you can get an idea of how they will sit. You can also trim down this bottom piece, so you don't have to have it as long as this. You can always trim it down if you want. That will sit just as nicely. See how I've just folded that up a little bit? Or you can trim it off. All right. Folding it up actually gives that little bit of extra height as well. So it's just your decision if you want to trim it, or you want to just fold it, or you want to leave it long. Okay. Today I think I'm going to trim it just to keep moving. All right, so I've trimmed it. Okay. You can be upset. Here we go. Right, so this is how it's looking so far. Next thing I want to do is, before I stick it on here, I'm going to colour my flowers, which I wanted to show you. Pardon me. And I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo for this one, for the flowers. So again, just with, you can use your blending brush, or you can use your little sponge daubers, whichever you have on hand. Or you can colour it with pens, or what else can you do? Or what I'm about to do next with the leaves. I'll show you what I do with the leaves in a minute. This is just the quickest way for me to get it coloured. And I like the variation in the colouring, where you get lighter and darker. I might just go in the middle a little bit more. Give it that depth. Bit of depth there. Oh, there's a flower up there I've missed with a little bit of a ink there. So again, I'm using Flirty Flamingo for this one. All right, so that's the flowers done. Now the next thing I need to do is the leaves. I'm using Old Olive, and I'll just show you this. I tell people this all the time, but I'll just say again, when you open your ink pads and you haven't opened them for a while, you need to push the ink down, because the ink has been sitting the other way. It all sits to the top of the ink pad, and it can become very messy when you go to stamp things. By pushing the ink down, you're going to get a better coverage. So I've pushed the ink down there, but I'm not actually stamping. Today I am using my aqua painter or water pen, and I'm just picking some ink up there, putting it in here, and just painting my leaves. And that's what that's a quick way to get colour as well. And again, I like this because it's a variation of the ink. You can squeeze a bit of water in there to get it more watery with your ink. You can see it's quite, again, you can use your pens if you prefer, or you can do what I did with the flowers and just use a blending brush. The finer ones are probably better for these little ones. You see the difference in the variations in the colour, and I can just pick up more ink to the side there if I'm trying to get, I want a bit darker over here, so I might just pick a bit more ink up. Remember, it's going to dry differently when it dries. It's not going to be exactly the same as it looks there, but that's, I like that. I like the variation in the colour. And if you want to add a bit more, you can, but I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to leave that. If you're changing colours, just remember to squeeze your ink, squeeze your water out and swish it around until there's no more colour coming through, and then you can use it on the next colour. But that's that one done today. And that's my flower. And I've already done my rose, which is the other one I need to use today. So I think that's enough for the colouring, so I'm removing that for now. And we're going to go back to our front of our card. So before, I always tell my class ladies this, before you do anything, take your pieces, the main pieces, and put them on where you think they will look good, and just have a little play before you go sticking anything down. So I have a large, oh sorry, did I tell you? These are from Charming Day. All these pieces are from Charming Day dies, which are in the retired section of the online store at the moment. So if you want them, you got to get in there now and get them before they're gone. Otherwise, any flowery things, I'm just having a look there. I think I actually like the green coming off the top. I think that looks good, and then adding this on top of that. I think that looks like a pretty good bunch of flowers. So I'm happy with that. So the next thing I will do is I'm actually going to glue this piece down. Well, you could always put it that way if you like to. Just keep that in mind. You can raise this up if you want, if you don't want it glued down. I don't glue the whole piece either. I've just sort of put the glue in the center because I'm going to be tucking some ribbon behind there later. So you've got to be thinking ahead all the time about what you're doing with things. I'm not putting a lot of glue on here because, again, this is a piece that's just going to sit in here behind the flowers, so hopefully the flowers will hold it in place. So I just want to put it where I think it'll look good, and some little bits of glue on a bit of this like that, popping that over there, stay there. And my last one here, these are cut in Old Olive two-tone cardstock, which I use a lot of two-tone cardstock. I love two-tone cardstock. I think it's great. So now I've got my flowers, which are going to go on top, and they look quite good. I think I will put a dimensional on this one, because it seems to be, it's sort of a little bit lower. I'll get that one off. And I'm going to put a bit of, see how I've looked at where it's going to sit. I'm going to put a bit of glue on here and these couple here and that one there, and I think that will sort of hold it in place. There we go. That gives it, and it still has bits that are floating around. I can, now that I'm looking, I go, well, I can add some more dimensionals if I like to the little leaves. I might add a small dimensional on this one and a small dimensional on this one, just to help them sit. If you don't over glue or over dimensionalize, that's a hard word to say, you tend to get a more movement in your card and it seems to flow a little bit. So there we go, it's sitting there nicely. What's next? What else did I have on here? Oh yes, so the next thing we want to do is I have added in here, I've added some little white flowers in here as well, and these little white flowers are favourites for me. These are from the Perfectly Pairs die set, which I'm not even sure if they're available anymore. They might be in the retired section too now. But any little flowers, and I know that there are always sets with little flowers in. So any little flowers, or even a punch with little flowers. I've even got punches with little flowers, which are just as good. You could use them. I'm just grabbing a, I'm going to pop this under here. I think it just sort of like sits under here, like that. And then I'm going to add, I don't know if I'm going to glue it or use dimensional glue dots. Thinking if I use a glue dot here, oops, not that one though, that one has now gone where I didn't want it to. There we go. I'm just going to grab that actually. There we go. These little flowers. I love these little flowers. I'm always adding these to things. I just think they just add that little bit of, when you need that something, that's what you need. Some little white flowers popping up all around the spot. That's really nice, I think. It just adds a little bit of extra. And again, like I said, just have a look in your sets, in your die sets, or in your punches even, if you don't have any. What do you like that one? Kind of feel like it needs to be, come on, I know you're all yelling at me, so put it there. That will do for now. What's the next thing I have to do on the front? Let's have a look. Here's my card. And I have a ribbon. I have a ribbon done in, I think this is Petal Pink. Yes, Petal Pink. This was in a 2-pack. It's quite a old set. You don't need a lot of this. You just want it to go around to the other side. You can just put a ribbon on if you like. You put a ribbon on it. Quite cute. You put it there if you like. That looks quite good, doesn't it? Or I can wrap it around here. Put it here. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to stick to the plan. So to wrap this around, I'm just grabbing a glue dot on the end and I'm going to wrap it around here. So I'm just going to pop that under there. And I'm going to grab another glue dot. There we go, glue dot. And this time I have to put it this side. Right. And get it off my finger, wrap it around, and there's the tricky bit. Oh, it came off, didn't it? Good on it. Now stick it under you go. Got it. And there. That's how I got it under. And I will just use a glue dot on my ribbon as well. There we go. Glue dot on the ribbon. Might need another one. I might need another glue dot there to hold that ribbon a little bit better. There we go. It's better. So that's coming along nicely, isn't it? So what I have next is some words for the front. All right, so in this one I've used enjoy today. So the next one I'm going to do is have a beautiful day. I've used the same piece here, which is from the perennial postage dies, which are in the main catalogue, the annual catalogue. This is the smallest die. I'm going to pop that on here. I'm not going to raise that up. And again, this is two-tone cardstock, so I can choose what colour I want. I've gone with the darker one because I want it to stand out a little bit. And I have a beautiful day, which I am going to glue on there. I can't tell you where that came from. I'm sorry. It's come from one of the old sets. What I do with when I make cards, and I try different sentiments, or I have leftover sentiments from classes, I put them all into a box, and then when I go to make a new card, I'll rummage through my box to see if there's anything that would work before I go stamping anymore. So these have all come from that box. So there we go. We've got the front piece done. You can add glitter to that if you want. I'm not going to do that right now. And that's the front. I think that's turned out really well. We're going to work on the inside now.